What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the official Cliffy J, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm gonna be giving you guys my preseason, power ranking and predictions for Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like crazily looking forward to this season, like I know a lot of other people kinda are, but I know this should be a solid one. Usually these Survivor All-Star seasons are pretty good. So let's go ahead and get into the reason I'm doing this ranking because I know some of you guys are probably thinking, didn't you already do one? I did right at the beginning when we first found out about the cast. But now we have preseason interviews, which I only watched the Mike Bloom one like usual. And we have tribe divisions. So I want to give you guys my official rankings. My rankings definitely have changed a bit. They are not exactly the same. They actually are very different, and I have a different winner pick too. So anybody that wanted me to still be picking Joe as the winner, sorry y'all, I don't think it's gonna happen. But I never actually really think he was gonna win. I just I think I think he has a chance for sure, especially based off the cast. And the interviews actually got me just as confident. And okay, let's get into the ranking. Let's get into the ranking. Y'all already know what this is based off of. I told y'all it's the interviews and how I think they'll do in this season. So that's really what it is. It's a prediction. It's not me rating them as players. So I'll have players that are better than other players, in my opinion, lower than these certain players because being a great player doesn't really benefit you on all-star seasons as much as being like mediocre or decent. So since we got 24 players to rank, let's go ahead and start at number 24. I got the winner of Survivor 48. I got Kyle. And though Kyle is coming off a win, everybody just watched him do that, and that's really not good. He had very impressive gameplay, so everyone is really targeting Kyle. Everyone is willing to cut Kyle. Nobody's really thinking, all right, let me take Kyle to the end. Nobody's thinking that, not one person. And at number 23, I got Savannah. And the reason I got Savannah, another winner of 49, is honestly, I think that she might even have a lower chance of making a deep run than Kyle. Like, I could see Kyle actually making it further because there's not unknown with Kyle's game. People know he's relatively loyal. People know that he's not like that big of a snake. It's just he spent the entire season lying with Camilla, so that's obviously gonna be a target on their backs. But Savannah has the unknown aspect, and Rizzo's not gonna hide the fact that she's a winner. I highly doubt that she's gonna hide the fact that she's a winner. So her being a winner and the unknown, I just don't see anyone wanting to work with her long term. And I also think that the way she's even coming off, she's coming off so, like, confident. I definitely think people are not gonna and, like, so strong. Like, they're getting, like, a strong vibe from her too, So, that's all gonna play into it, and then her overall personality seemed very disagreeable for majority of the cast, let's be honest. So, not majority, but for a decent amount of the cast, her personality seemed disagreeable, so I don't really think she'll do pretty well out here with these big players that probably got egos themselves. So yeah, no, I think she's cooked. And at number 22, I got Rick Devens from Survivor Edge of the Extinction. Edge of the Extinction. Edge of Extinction. Like, and I got Rick this low because it's like he's just like almost creeping people out during preseason, bro. He's smiling way too hard. I think he's making it really obvious he wants to try to play all sides. Everyone knows him as like the idol king, getting all the idols. That's a big threat. People are gonna be following him around. People are gonna be nervous around him. And though it is some people that are willing to work with him, I just think that his reputation is always going to be there, and when you have a reputation like that, I think you're kinda cooked, like, where people feel like they gotta follow you around and feel like they gotta be weary of you because you might just pull out 5 idols, like, nah. I think that he's gonna have and he's making it worse for himself preseason. So, yeah, I just don't see Rick having that great of a chance. And at number 21, I have Angelina, and a big reason why I have the most of the players that I'm gonna have this low And the next couple players is a different conversation, but these players that I've all had this low are all players that I think could go home, like, pre-jury, pre-merge, like, wouldn't be really surprised based off of them just maybe not getting along with their tribe or something like that. Not really because I think they're even bad players or they're just gonna have too high of a threat level, obviously, for the first 3. Like, Rick has made himself this like one of the biggest threats on the cast based off his pregame. Like they just everyone's looking at him a weird way. Not everybody, but so many people are looking at him like weird. Like I don't know if I can trust Rick. Whereas Angelina, I just know her personality. She's not super strategically savvy, and like it's been said multiple times, she only has one speed. And when you really only have one speed, I could see these other big name, not big name, but I mean, like bigger players that have like done well on their other seasons not really liking her approach and saying, "Alright, let's just get Angelina up out of here real quick." Even if they initially like her. Like, I could see her as someone that, like, goes home, like, 2nd or 3rd on her tribe or something like that, you know? Yeah. And you gotta think about the fact that 12 people or, like, 10 people, a bunch of people have to go home pre-merge, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be in tribes for a while. I don't see Angelina making it to the merge. And at number 20, I have the most recent winner is Kyle. What is wrong with me right now? I have a very recent winner. Probably the most highly regarded winner of the new era. So it's gonna be really hard for her to survive. I got D. I got D at 20 because of, her ability. And I think she has better relationships. Aside from Joe and Camilla, who let's be honest, like I think it's gonna be hard for them to team up with Kyle. Kyle don't really have connections on the cast like that, and you don't see that same thing for someone like D. Like D has a good relationship with Charlie and Tiffany that are not gonna be as highlight. Not and Tiffany, but I just know that they know each other and they're clearly willing to work together. So that's something. And then she also has it was somebody else. A lot of people are willing to work with D. I don't got like Coach. A lot of people are willing to work with D. So I think that she'll have a lot more of an advantage. Like someone like Kyle, he's cooked. Everyone is targeting Kyle. Not everyone's really targeting D. Like, yeah, most people want to get her out. She's a big threat. She won. She don't need to be here no more. So she has a couple of people that are on her for that. But she has way more people that want to work with her and that are willing to make a deep run with her. So you never really know. And a lot of the old school players don't care that you're a winner. So they'll go deep in the game with you. So I definitely think that she's going to be in a relatively good position to start the game. She's strong too. So a lot of strong players will want to keep her in the game so they can win challenges. So I definitely think D's going to make the merge. It's just once merge hit, that's when in all-star seasons especially, once merge hit, it's legacy taking over, bro. Whoever got the best legacy, whoever is the biggest threat actually from prior seasons, your reputation is going to play a huge part. Like, it's gonna play a part even in pre-merge, but when you're someone like D that is a very good player, you're liked and likable and, like, gonna be able to traverse the game, I don't see her going home pre-merge, but I definitely know at that point that's where those resumes and that's where those reputations come out, and it's like they're gonna be taking the big shots, and I could see her being like a final 10 boot, or if she's able to slip past a little bit further, a final 6 boot, something like that, maybe final 4, but I highly doubt that. And at number 19, I got Mike White, and I just feel like he's low key still just here for the vibes. We know he doesn't need to win. I don't think he even wants to win, as we've seen on his last. I don't think there's his mentality has changed when he's definitely made more millions. So it's like I don't like that Mike White's even here to a certain extent. I don't think he's gonna try his hardest to win the game. I think he's gonna just enjoy the experience and make a move or two if he has that ability. Now, I think that people are gonna want to play with Mike White, so he does have that advantage there over majority of the people that I've already talked about. But I just don't think he's hungry, and being hungry definitely matters. I think even people don't perceive him as hungry. So they won't care to blind they won't be like, "Well, I'm blindsiding a mother with 3 kids that's, single mom struggling." Like, no, they're not gonna care about that. They're gonna literally just say, "This guy's rich back home," and get him out of the game. It's gonna be an easy boot. And at number 18, I got Jonathan. Um, he's gonna make it deep in the pre-merge for sure. I just don't even know if he's even gonna make the merge. It's gonna be such a long merge. Like someone like him cooked in Australian Survivor because it's such a long merge. It's such a long merge, and it's not long in terms of the days, but it's gonna have to be like 12 boots, 10 boots. And I just don't see him surviving like 8 rounds. No, he's not surviving like 8 rounds. Eventually, people gonna be like, "Alright, we can get him out. There's only like 2 rounds left, only 3 rounds left, only 1 round left." Like, they're gonna get him out before they make the merge. It's gonna have to be a really particular circumstance, like where he's been with people from the beginning, and they like him enough to where they're like, "Alright, let's just keep him until the merge." Kinda like that. I feel like that's what it have to be because I could see him making the merge because so many old school players are definitely gonna be willing to work with him, but even the old school players are gonna look at it like, "Okay, we're at the final 15. We're going to merge soon. Let's go ahead and just get Jonathan out real quick, and we can survive these last 3 nights." You know, like they're not gonna just they're not gonna just keep the guy. They'll survive. These are freaking survivors, and who wants to deal with him at the merge? He's all big and buff and athletic. Like, nah, I'm good, bro, and I know they're gonna be good. And at number 17, I got Q. Nobody really wants to work with him. Uh, Partly because he's not a good player, and partly because he overplays, and it just like he overplays, he believes he underplayed. Like that's the thing. That's the even more delusional part of it. He overplays, and for some reason he thinks the reason he went home on the week that he went home is because he underplayed, which that would make sense if he was saying, "I underplayed 'cause I didn't play my idol." Nah, bro was saying he underplayed because he didn't play like himself the rest of the game that got him in the position to where he was gonna be getting sniped out is the reason that he went home. Like, that doesn't even make sense. I wasn't gonna ever play it no matter what. So then what do you mean you underplay? You know what? Doesn't matter about it. He's at 17. Not really much needs to be said. The only reason that he's this high is because he is such a wacky presence and he's physically strong. So you never know if he's able to like actually, repress his abilities and repress his game. Like you never know. I actually could see a crazy situation where he becomes like a coach, like went from a wacky presence to actually a really good. Well, I mean, our coach was obviously better than he is even coming into this, but still, I could possibly see him being able to, be chill, and then get to the merge, get there with like Tiffany, and maybe patch up his relationship with Charlie instead of targeting Charlie, or maybe snipes Charlie out of the game. Maybe Charlie's not even there or something like that, and he's able to luck into a win there or something. And at number 16, I got Genevieve, and I really feel similarly about Q and Genevieve. They're cooked. Like, there's no way they actually. I don't even think either of them is going to make the merge, let alone they actually win the game because Genevieve is like one of the biggest threats on the cast. Period. Like everyone is scared of Genevieve, and that's the thing. Even people that want to work with Genevieve are scared of Genevieve. So I don't really think she has a chance to win the game. Like her reputation is going to be one of those that when she gets to a certain point, time to get Genevieve out of here. And I have a feeling they don't even want to let her make the merge, especially based off her tribe makeup. I think she's done. Yeah, so it's just like Q. You're really probably cooked, but you kind of never know if she can just help win the challenges early, kind of slide in with maybe a Aubrey and no, I think she's cooked. But you never know if her and Rizzo Aubrey able to make something happen, team up, something like that. And then she ain't cooked, but she's able to make the merge, and then she's not too robotic, and because everyone's just viewing her as a super game bot. So I just don't see it happening, bro. That's it. And at number 15, I got Ozzy. And honestly, it's literally the same thing as Genevieve and Q. There's no way Ozzy actually wins. Ozzy legit might not make the merge because, like Jonathan, when we get to like the final 15, why not? If bro makes it, he might just yoke us all and win 10 immunities in a row. Like I don't like the idea of him winning 10 individual immunities in a row either. So we're gonna go ahead and just get him out of here. And that's how I feel about Ozzy. It's just he's old school. The old school people are clearly gonna try to work together. Uh and you never know, man. I could actually see because Ozzy's like an underrated player. I could actually see a world where he is able to team up with the old schools, help them win a lot of challenges. They're able to get to the merge. He's strongly aligned with players. They're old school players, so they're inclined to be more loyal. And then he's able to actually be the one that gets like the final seven and then just wins out from there. Gets like the final five and easily wins out from there. Like it actually is possible with Ozzy. We've seen him do very similar things multiple times. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have Ozzy at 15. And at number 14, I got Jenna Lewis. I think her having played so long ago, I just don't see her being able to keep up with some of these players. I see her being either an early boot because she isn't able to like get into alliances, or I think it's possible she's like dragged to the end as a GOAT. But, and that's really how I really felt at first, like, that was, like, the either 2 ways it would go. But, after doing, like, some research and seeing how people feel about her, I slightly have changed my opinion just a little bit because so many people wanna work with her. I just still don't see her having the strategic chops, so I guess I'm leaning more towards GOAT or overplay because she is someone that's willing to overplay. She pushed really hard about the winners and ended up getting 3rd place. So you can obviously give her credit there and say maybe she is like gonna have that strategic ability. I just don't think it'll come out very I think it'll be like just too aggressive. I think she'll be too aggressive in her gameplay style, and she's also not willing to work with certain players that I think she should be willing to work with because she's going to need them. Because when push comes to shove, the new school is gonna go more with the new school. Not saying they're gonna always just go with the new school, and the old school is gonna go with the old school for the most part. And I think that when you have someone like her that's like thirsty to target an old school player in Suri, I don't see it. I don't see it, bruh, because I don't see her being able to do Suri in. It doesn't it's probably not gonna happen. And at number 12, I got Camilla. Joe and Kyle are both here, and Camilla was like the star, the super snakish, well, a super sneaky drive the bus over you player. So, yeah, I think that if she is able to make the merge, which I could see happening, even with Kyle being gone, I think she's cooked. I think that everyone will just have her ability, her gameplay so fresh in their mind. I don't even know if she's even gonna make the merge. If she does, she'll be an early merge boot. I don't think they'll not want to have her get time to sink her claws into the game and then start cooking. And at number 11, I got Charlie. And I think Charlie has the potential to be sniped based off like his middleman robbed king reputation. I think Tiffany and D make the merge more than likely. I think they'll both probably make the merge, and I could see them being kind of like a trio in the game because I think that when they get there, Tiffany and Charlie are going to be willing to work together. They'll see that it's beneficial. I think that by that point, D and Tiffany were already working together. I think they'll see that's beneficial. That'll become a trio, and then one of them will have to go. And out of the three, it's probably going to be D. But at the same time, it could also be Charlie. So that's kind of where I'm up with it. It's likely going to be D that gets sniped off. And even if that's not the route he goes about it, I just think that a certain part of him is gonna try to overplay on accident, trying to, like, course correct the mistakes he made last time, and he's also gonna be very focused on finding that number 1, which I could see him also being very disappointed by putting too much trust in the player and then getting sniped out, trying to have a number 1 that you're working so closely with, and maybe you're disclosing a little too much information or something like that, but it also could very well work out for him because he is a loyal player, and they should know that, So, I could definitely see it going either way for Charlie. And at number 10, I got Sari. And so many people wanna work with Sari, and that's why I'm, like, thinking maybe I should put her higher, but also her threat level is through the roof. She's one of the best players to ever play the game, and I just think that no matter what, she's more of a resume builder than an actual player that has a chance to win. I just don't know how else to say it. Now, the reason I got her this high is because I know she is that good of a player, and sometimes it just takes a player a long time to get a win, so you never really know. I'm not gonna bank on it. I don't really have many actual contenders for the crown. I'm pretty confident in my top 5, but other than that, I think most people don't really have a legitimate shot, and that's just my views on it. So let's go ahead and get to the next. At number 9, I got Rizzo, and Rizzo is gonna be on the back foot early. I think just based off his tribe dynamic, he will get some luck there with the fact that Kyle is gonna be easy shield for him, same with Genevieve. And Q will also for sure make himself a shield, even if he's not already one. And I think his approach of working with the older players will definitely benefit his early position because he can lock in with the players who are probably gonna have power early in Kobe, Steph, and they'll probably pull in Aubrey. Um, and I think that they'll probably bring in Aubrey and pick between him and Angelina in terms of who will be like the fourth in the alliance. The other person will probably be the fifth in the alliance. And I just don't know if at this point, at this age, he'll be able to gain the respect from the older players to win, even if he does make it that far in it. But when I just look at the players from 49 and 48, I have a lot of faith in him and one other player. So let's keep going. And at number 8, I got Chrissy. I think she's in a really good position in terms of the season that she debuted in, and like she's in the middle of what most of the seasons really are, not too close to the new era, not too far away from the new era. And she also has her game ability that we've seen on her first season, pretty well-rounded player. Question her strategic ability a little bit, but I also think that she does have a benefit of the fact that she's a mom, she's a little bit older now, and she's also a strong competitor. So I really do have a lot of faith that Chrissy will maybe make a deep run, have a strong performance. Just don't know how sure I am that she'll be able to traverse this game enough to get the win. And at number 7, I got Emily, and I feel very similarly about Emily as I do about Chrissy, as that they have people that wanna work with them. I think they're in a pretty good position in terms of the fact that she's from 45, not super duper recent, like, not 47, not 48, not 49, and she's not viewed as, like, the greatest player either, so people could definitely underestimate her ability, but I still don't know if she really has the full on ability to traverse this game if some of the higher level players are deep in the game and things like that. So since I don't have 100% sure, like I'm not 100% sure if she's an elite player or not, really, I'm gonna have her at number 7. And at number 6, I got Christian. Super charismatic guy. People view him that way. They like him a lot coming into it. He's not really being directly targeted. Um, the only reason I don't have him higher, because I think he has a really high chance of winning. I just don't really know how him having 2 other people from his cast that at least optically he's rather connected to is gonna work out for his game. I think it could go either way where he's able to just be the nice, charismatic, likable guy that's adding in a little bit of strategy, willing to work with anybody, and then he's able to make that deep run and, have a stellar season. Or he can have a season where he's playing really well to start and then people really tack on to it and they're end up being threatened by him because he's so good socially while also having a strategic bit to him. And he ends up having a season very similar to his last appearance. I really don't know which one we're gonna get. I'm hoping we get the best version of Christian and we get him able to kind of lay low and but still be a good TV character, something like that. And at number 5, I got Colby. Colby seems like he has a decent head on his shoulders for this season. Seems like he's more open to working with different people, the different types of people. And based off his last performance, he's at least going to be viewed, I mean, all of his performances, he's at least going to be viewed as loyal and not like a huge threat. Obviously, he wasn't really physically dominant, physically dominant in his last time out there. So if the old school players are to align with people like Jonathan, Joe, Charlie, or Rizzo, I think he should, and like D maybe, I think he should be pretty easily able to make it pretty deep in that in terms of I think that all the old school players, him having as much experience as he has and him having multiple deep runs in the game, I think that when they get to that spot, he'll know to lay low, he'll know to do that. And I think that if he gets to the end with mostly old school players, But players like the Joes and the Jonathans of the world, I think it'll be pretty easy for him to get a jury vote, based off honor, loyalty, and being a respectable player. And at number 4, I got Tiffany. And she's one of the less recognizable names clearly out there on the island. I would say she's probably more unassuming because of that than most of the players. And I don't really see many people targeting her. So she definitely does make the merge, I would say, because people like Genevieve aren't even gonna have the chance to even make that happen. But yeah, no, I think she definitely gonna make the merge, and she's to sit behind bigger players like D, Kyle, Sari, Charlie, Christian, stuff like that. And I think that it's definitely a possibility she'll be able to get it done, 'cause I think she has the game ability now that she's been able to reflect on what happened, not trust people as much, and kinda just play a little bit more fluidly. And at number 3, I got Joe, and I thought Joe was gonna get it done, and I still think it's rather possible. He's known as an extremely loyal player. Kyle and Camilla are both bigger threats than him and will certainly be gone before the merge more than likely. I mean, Camilla could make the merge, but they're probably gonna both be gone before the merge, and if Camilla's not, you can easily get Camilla out of there, I feel like, and he's gonna be able to play similar to his last time. He just has to be more aggressive. The old schoolers love him, and a lot of the new schoolers are willing to work with him aside from like a Genevieve, because when you have someone as loyal as him and as strong as him and as honorable as him and as honorable, he's gonna be speaking that talk, talking that lingo, right, for the old school guys and the Jonathans and players like that. And I think that his game will be pretty solid. It's just, will they let him get all the way to the end again, playing honor and loyalty? I think if he does get to the end again, I think that he has a solid reputation. I think he's extremely respectable. And I just think he'll be able to get the win if he does make it to the end. And at number 2, I got the Dragon Slayer. And the reason I got Coach at 2 versus my number 1 is my actual faith in their ability to truly traverse the game and get it done. Like, we've seen Coach play the game before and be a very good player um on South Pacific. I just don't know how much of a fluke that really is. I guess I'm kinda scared we're not gonna see the best version of Coach out there, especially with he's even more actually confident in his game ability. Like, it really seems because he has more knowledge of the game, which that almost could play negative for someone like Coach because he might be overthinking. But, at the same time, like, I wanna say this, I think he has a very high chance of winning, and I think that he has, obviously, the ability to win. It's just, I think everyone liking him as much as they do could definitely turn into everyone being threatened by him by the time we get into the merge when he's controlling votes and when he's making stuff happen. He's also someone that is certainly going to have a lot of control early because so many people wanna work with him. That could end up backfiring because the way he plays the game, he's likely, even if he doesn't wanna be the ringleader, I think someone could try to make him a figurehead or try to, like, force that on him because he is the coach. He is a coach, and it's gonna be really hard for him to leave those ways. Now, we could either have a dominant season by Coach able to just run through it and win, or we're gonna have a season where Coach is running his game and doing pretty well, and then someone snipes him out because they're like, "We can't let this guy get to the end. He's gonna win. He's so likable. Everyone wants to be around him. He's running the game, all that, right?" And that's kinda what I'm seeing for Coach. It's really 50-50 right now. I could see Coach winning, but the last person I got them slightly ahead of Coach. And at number 1, I got Aubrey. And, I just think this comes from the fact that we know she's a really good player, but she's actually able to come in more into a spot where a lot of people wanna work with her, most people wanna work with her, and she's being a little bit underestimated because a lot of people don't believe that she is coming off of the best mental state, like, in terms of with Survivor, like, even though it look like she's in pretty good headspace for the show. Not I don't think a lot of people believe that, but I've seen a couple mention that. And, she doesn't seem like she's a big threat to many people. She is really locked in, it seems like also. It also seems like she's definitely honored in having this opportunity, and I know she is a really good player. She's gonna certainly be aligned with players like Sari and stuff like that, and, I just think that she'll be able to sit behind bigger that's always an important thing with these returnee seasons because every single vote, like, going into the merge. Like, when you're in the merge, every single vote is usually targeting players based off who has the better chance of beating this person at the end or who's the biggest threat and stuff like that because these people are these people are usually here for their second shot. They haven't ever won the game before. It's not usually gonna be that many winners at the end, right? Like, so they're extra hungry. Like, they're extra hungry. They know they're probably not gonna be able to ever play Survivor again, stuff like that. So I think we're gonna see a lot of big blind sides during the merge. I think that the player that can sit behind the biggest players, but also be a big enough player, like name wise, like Aubrey is gonna be respected out there. Aubrey can take in a role as like a big threat, but she also can kind of sit behind other players that are going to be more active and doing more. And I really do think that this is going to be a time that we can have this player that's already done 3 seasons before win on their fourth time, which I think who else has done that? Tyson is also Boston Rob. Like, let's see. I think Aubrey can also achieve that. And maybe she can be in some crazy conversations after. You never know. And that is the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Push the notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new lit banger. Peace.